Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Newshour special edition with me, Priya Bahal. It was just 3 days ago when Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared pictures of himself from Lakshadweep. In a rare departure from his hectic schedule, Prime Minister was seen trying his hand at snorkeling, going on walks along pristine beaches of the island and enjoying what he called moments of pure bliss. Reminiscing the joy of his visit, PM called on those who wish to embrace similar adventures to put Lakshadweep on their list. Now, Prime Minister's posts were benign attempts to promote domestic tourism, something that a Prime Minister should do. A message that was well received as well. Lakshadweep climbed the charts on search engines. Travel agents saw a sudden surge in inquiries for the lesser-known destination. Even celebrities today came out in bulk to tweet about exploring Indian islands instead of going offshores. However, somehow this euphoria managed to rattle some politicians in the Maldives. A member of the Progressive Party of Maldives, which is an ally in the ruling coalition, Zahid Ramiz was among the first prominent voices to post that the idea of competing with Maldives is delusional. He didn't stop at that. He further said, how can they provide the services that we offer? And how can they be so clean? This was followed by a derogatory tweet directed at the Prime Minister himself from Maldivian Minister Mariam Shiuna, who called Prime Minister a clown, a post that was subsequently deleted. Now, actor Akshay Kumar was one of the most vocal voices that came out in support of PM and against this drivel. He said that it is time to explore islands in India, and why should India tolerate such unprovoked hate? Now, in the face of mounting backlash, Indian government also raised the issue with the Maldivian administration, expressing its displeasure over the derogatory commentary. Facing flack, the Maldivian government was forced to crack the whip. Not only did they distance themselves from the comments made by some of their ministers, insisting that they were made only in their personal capacity and did not represent the views of the government, the Maldivian government also further went on to say that it will not hesitate in acting against those who are making such remarks. Minutes later, the crackdown followed. Maldivian government suspended 3 ministers from the government with immediate effect, which includes Mariam Shiuna, Malsha Sharif and Mahzoom Majid.
The relationship between Maldives and India is a very strong and a very close relationship. I myself have seen how this relationship evolved across 3 governments. At the outset, let me say that I do apologize on behalf of Maldivians and including, if I may say, the Maldivian government, as they have said in their statement that we do not wish to offend, and particularly we hold Prime Minister Modi in great respect. I think President Muiz himself has been very clear, and I know he will take whatever action necessary.
And I think this is a very sad incident, which should not happen actually, because when you are in an elected position, you should not engage as an activist. So you have to be more responsible. And also these degraded remarks towards the global leader, Prime Minister Modi, and as well as racist comments against Indian citizens, it's not acceptable. So we built our tourism on the basis of tolerance and harmony and friendship and hospitality. So this is not acceptable at any level.
Now, the controversy did not find much resonance in the Indian government. They said that, there's nothing unnatural about it. We do not give much credence to random voices speaking out against the Prime Minister. He did what he's supposed to do. He promoted the culture, the tourism of his own country. However, it did become a prominent issue in the opposition's political commentary. Listen in.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो लक्षद्वीप की यात्रा रही, उसने भारत के बहुत सारे लोगों को और देश दुनिया के लोगों को अवगत कराया कि भारत में जहां एक तरफ काशी जैसी प्राचीन नगरी है, वहाँ पर दूसरी तरफ एकदम साफ सुंदर बीचेस भी हैं लक्षद्वीप की। एक तरफ प्राचीनतम सभ्यता और सौंदर्य को दिखाने की है और दूसरी तरफ चंद्रयान जैसे चंद्रयान और आदित्य L1 जैसे ऑब्जेक्ट्स उड़ाने की भी है।
An MP criticized the image that the Prime Minister put out.
I don't give much credence to such people, except I would say the evolutionary history of India can only be appreciated by the ones who are evolved enough in their spiritual and mental space.
मोदी जी कभी समंदर में वहाँ पर जाके या स्विमिंग करने का दिखाते हैं फोटो सेशन, कभी अभी कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है मंदिरों का, वहाँ पर जाके वहाँ फोटो निकाल लेते हैं, कभी केरला में निकाल लेते हैं, कभी बम्बई में निकाल लेते हैं। हर जगह जाकर नए नए ये अपने वस्त्र पहन के हर जगह से फोटो रोज आप तो देखते रहे होंगे, आप भी तंग आए होंगे, भाई कितने बार इतनी सूरत देखना, फिर भी वो सूरत बताने का वो नहीं छोड़ते।
Then you compare that, look, Rajiv Gandhi went with his family on a vacation, but here is the Prime Minister who doesn't take a vacation. But when you go there, posing for cameramen, sitting there changing your clothes for a photo shoot, what else is that? That's a vacation. But you present it as a very hard-working Prime Minister. So I think this doublespeak should end, this hypocrisy should end. We have no problem if the Prime Minister is on leave. Perhaps that is the only time when the country will heave a sigh of relief when the Prime Minister takes a vacation.
So is it much ado over nothing? We will soon be joined by Ahmed Adib, who's the former Vice President to the Minister of Maldives. But right now joining us on the broadcast is Varun Singh, who's a political analyst, Professor Madhav Nalapat, he's a strategic affairs analyst, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, political analyst, and advocate Umar Junaidi, political analyst. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, first question to you. Now, to quote Abhishek Manu Singhvi, right-wing trolls over Lakshadweep and Maldives have pushed away the close ally. Modi ji begins the damage, Bucks amplify it. What is your first reaction to this?
No, Priya, the first and foremost, we all must understand that Maldives is a geopolitically a very strategic location from India. And considering the India's presence in the Indian Ocean or the Arabian Sea is concerned, we must be very much concerned about how we develop our relation with Maldives. Now here what happened, people followed by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi come out on Twitter and compare Lakshadweep and Maldives, followed by reactions which should not have been there from Maldivian ministers or officials from the government. It should not have been there. This entire issue should not have boiled to this much, that where our foreign relations should have been affected with such a strategically important country of Maldives. Why I say this, you know, because a few days ago China has in fact put up some bases out there in the Indian Ocean, and in response to the South China Sea incursions of China, even the America had entered into our nautical miles, our nautical territories. Even US had to, India had to intervene there. So considering the fragile geopolitical situation out in that region, I believe it is a very wrong to even get into such type of debates where some social media right-wing influencers or from India or from Maldives are trying to create tensions in the friendly relations between India and Maldives. And I believe the government of India should immediately step in and ask these right-wing influencers in India particularly to stop.
So, sir, there are two things here. There are random trolls who post whatever they want to, and there are credible people like Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. First of all, you said my Prime Minister. I would think that Narendra Modi is India's Prime Minister and you are as much part of India as I am. Is there anybody in the BJP who has made this comparison between India and Maldives, number one? Mr. Chaudhary?
I said people followed by the Prime Minister himself. They have been the troll, by the social media trolling Maldives. They are in the #1 at present.
Sir, does social media decide India's foreign policy?
In the social media.
Sir,
but the damage has already been done.
Sir, we'll come to it one by one.
Please.
I'm just trying to understand the issue. It's a complex geopolitical issue. You're helping me understand it. Does social media decide India's foreign policy? Do trolls and random people on Twitter decide India's foreign policy?
Yes, that's what it seems like. You know, the actual issue why the Prime Minister went to Lakshadweep is a different issue altogether. Because the Union government has sent a Praful Khoda Patel out there from 2020. He is trying to destroy the fragile ecology of Lakshadweep by trying to develop some roads out there, bringing in the Gunda Act or the Panchayat Regulations Act or the Animal Preservation Regulation Act out there. That's a different issue altogether. You need to understand that by comparing Maldives to Lakshadweep,
that's a different issue altogether, which is why we are sticking to the issue at hand. Which is why we are sticking to the issue at hand, which according to my limited understanding is Prime Minister visiting Lakshadweep and Maldives seeing red over it. Now, help me understand, how did Prime Minister's visit to Lakshadweep damage India's ties with Maldives?
Priya, I believe you all saw where it started. Mr. Sinha tweeted with the Prime Minister's video, retweeted or reposted it, wherein in a reaction, the Maldivian ministers also came in. Now, who is this Mr. Sinha?
Is he a BJP leader?
From the right-wing army that have been comparing
is he a BJP leader?
Maldives.
Is he a BJP leader?
We need to find out who are these trolls, whether they have done great service to the country by comparing Lakshadweep with Maldives.
Sir, I think you are doing a disservice to this country by giving legitimacy to random trolls.
India is very fast in our...
Now, my second question, how has it damaged India's...
Who is the random trolls? These trolls are followed by the Swam Prime Minister of India.
Sir, are you saying that there is somebody in the Maldivian government who's tracking all these trolls who are being followed by the Prime Minister and then sitting down and formulating how they have to deal with Indian diplomacy?
That's what is laughable. Today we are discussing on such a topic based on some random trolls who have been criticizing the foreign policy of India as well as the Maldives.
Okay, now, so we've established one thing
on the foreign policy.
So we've established
based on these random trolls out here. We have got Priya. The funniest part is that a leading multinational news agency of India is taking out sound bites as if from foreign experts based on the relationship between India and Maldives. This is a joke. It is under this government, the Bharatiya Janata Party's government, India has lost good relationship with Nepal. It has lost good relation with Bangladesh.
I'm sorry, I request patience from my other guests, but I'm just trying to understand this issue for myself.
I don't doubt about it.
On a day,
why is Bhutan also turning its back on India?
Let's not bring Bhutan into this. एक तो already Prime Minister went on a holiday, did not name Maldives. Maldives खुद से आ गया, अब हम उसमें Bhutan भी लेके आ जाएंगे. But my question is, on a day when the Maldivian government has apologized, they have suspended the ministers, how has it damaged the relationship? If anything, to me, it would seem like it's only an assertion that Maldives does value its relationship with India.
Of course, we also value our relationship with our neighbors, and that's how it should have been.
But that is how it is.
Compared Lakshadweep's PM's visit with that of Maldives? Who compared? That person should have been arrested by now.
That is my question.
But he won't be, because he is a right-wing supporter of the government.
Okay, so the government
lies in how we perceive the things, just because in your hatred towards a particular community, you feel that that person, that country should be vilified because we do not want any
towards a particular community
with that country, because it ran a vicious election campaign where India campaign they started out there, this government, before the elections. So we need to criticize and vilify that country.
No, but you said hatred towards a particular community. Which community, if I may ask?
you see Lakshadweep's population is a majority Muslim population. Let's know
97% plus, yes.
Maldivian population is also Muslim population.
Yes.
Yeah, Maldivian population is also Muslim population out there. Now, there were trolls in the Twitter. I believe if you have gone through the troll last 2 days,
I'm desperately trying to open this debate up, but you're confusing me thoroughly.
And most of this were followed by
you
the
said
Modi
this commentary was started by hatred towards a particular community. Who is hating which community where?
Priya, if you want, I can cite you instant messages on the Twitter wherein people from the right-wing ecosystem followed by Narendra Modi's cabinet ministers, they have started a vicious campaign against the minority population of Maldives.
Sir, Prime Minister went to Lakshadweep is 97% Muslim population. But anyways, I think it's just become like a one-on-one. Let me just open this up. Varun saying now Mr. Kamruzzaman Chaudhary is making a point that while the government might not have said it, but it's the right-wing trolls who have been sending this message, these messages that have the potential of jeopardizing the diplomatic ties. It's the backup support that seems to have emboldened them.
What Mr. Chaudhary is doing right now is trying to destabilize the community, the harmony that we have in our country by bringing up issues like, someone is trying to target communities over here. It is laughable that he wants someone to be arrested for just comparing Lakshadweep with Maldives. As a journalist for so many years, we have written so many articles where we always mention South Mumbai as Beverly Hills of India. So I have never seen anyone take any offense to it. Why should anybody in their right mind should take an offense to someone calling that Lakshadweep, which is very much part of India, and it should be visited. It has better, serene and clean beaches compared to, Maldives. Why shouldn't the Indian money that we spend on tourism over there be spent over here? That is a very sane suggestion that one can give. And I'm very appalled with Mr. Chaudhary that he says that someone should be arrested. And then he again goes on saying about, these are the same people who want freedom of expression for themselves, but want freedom of expressions of every other person to be taken back. And what is one thing very surprising over here, Priya, or to be very frank, I would commend the Maldivian government over here. The moment they realize that their ministers and their party spokesperson are trying to speak ill about India and the PM of the country, who's a world power right now, who's a face of world power in the world right now. In India, we have seen Congress leaders and Congress spokesperson making fun of the Prime Minister, but nothing has happened to them. Mr. Chaudhary remains silent on the kind of mockery and the fun that they have made, the Congress spokespersons have made on the same platform where he wants action to be taken against Mr. Sinha for making a statement that Lakshadweep is better than Maldives. He has not even spoken a single word about those Congress spokespersons who made fun of the Prime Minister for visiting Lakshadweep. They do not know the difference between snorkeling and why a life jacket needs to be used, and why, to dive you don't need a life jacket. And they have made such derogatory remarks have been made. And nothing has gone wrong between Maldives and India's diplomatic relationship. Instead, over here as an Indian, I feel very proud and happy that there has been no effort from the Indian government to seek anyone's suspension or resignation in Maldives against all those people who made statement. Yes, our embassy did ask for an explanation why cow dung, laddu, and Mr. Netanyahu's or Mr. Israel's puppet, these kind of statements coming from any government authority in any part of the world seeks an explanation. And that is what the government did. The Maldivian president expelled those people. That clearly shows that India today has an upper hand in the world forum, and our Prime Minister is currently seen as one of the leaders who drives how the world thinks. Mr. Chaudhary needs to introspect. Mr. Chaudhary and people who support such kind of, pitting Indians against Indians is what Mr. Chaudhary is trying to do. Maldives is an important ally of us. It was the first country that received more than 1 lakh COVID vaccines when India opened COVID vaccines. our alliance with Maldives is very strong. Immaterial that China has come in, and there was this fear that China has entered so deep in Maldives, and it may jeopardize our relationship. But seeing today's reaction by Maldives government against those people who spoke ill against India and the Prime Minister, it is now very clear, and I'm very happy to say that I think that the relationship between Maldives and India is in safe hands.
Okay, I'll get the other guests in, but Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary wants to rebut. Sir, 30 seconds.
Yeah, basically, the point here is that you become oblivious to the entire fact that why should the Prime Minister be promoting Lakshadweep as a tourist destination, and why not Manipur, or why not Goa, or why not some other place? That is absolutely correct. We don't have any problem Prime Minister visiting Lakshadweep and trying to promote it as a this thing. Though that remains that his promotion of Lakshadweep in itself is a very bad decision, considering the fragile ecosystem of Lakshadweep.
Isn't Lakshadweep
the way
part
the
of India?
Khuda Patel, the administration, is trying to destroy Lakshadweep out
Mr.
there.
Chaudhary,
But the point remains out here that the government of India has yet to issue a statement condemning these right-wing trolls against criticizing a very friendly country like Maldives, which is very much geopolitically a strategic point for India.
Has a government issued statements on the basis of what random trolls are saying? That's why they are called random, and that's why they are called trolls.
There should not have been debate on this.
Why shouldn't there be a debate?
It is your ally.
Three ministers have been suspended.
Sir, it is your
India and Maldives is in jeopardy because of these idiots of the right-wing troll.
Sir, it is your ally Priyanka Chaturvedi of Shiv Sena UBT who says that wonder if our foreign policy and international relations will be decided by social media influencers, film actors, or ministers in charge and the GOI. Now, she is saying that one must not give credit to all those who are posting their individual opinions on social media. You are saying that the government must issue a statement on the basis of what they have said. Am I getting it right?
The point here is that it is no longer a individual troll army that needs to be brought to book. It's because the Maldivian government officials have become involved. So the Indian foreign policy experts in the Ministry of External Affairs should be issuing a statement that Indian government stand vis-a-vis this right-wing troll army.
So you are saying that the right-wing troll army... So you are saying that this right-wing troll army should have said that please don't come to Lakshadweep. Prime Minister has gone, it is fine, but you don't go there. You should go to foreign destinations, right? That would have been right. That would have promoted the strategic ties with that country. Is that what you want?
We never said that. We never said that.
Sir, I'm really confused.
We never said that. Priya, don't try to shift the goalpost out here.
Sir, I'm not. I'm trying to understand what is your goalpost.
The number of times, Mr. Chaudhary, you have shifted the goalpost.
Mr. Nalapat, let me bring you in there because
now why is the government of India silent on these trolls?
Because it is about strategic ties. What do you make of what the Indian opposition is saying? A, has there been a damage? B, is it the government of India ignoring these trolls, not acting against them, that is going to have long-term geopolitical repercussions?
Look, the first point is that the Maldivian economy needs India. Frankly, whenever there's a crisis in the Maldives, whether it's ecological, whether it's health related, like, for example, the Wuhan virus, or any other way, including, for example, attempted coups. And don't forget, there were a large number of ISIS members who were Maldivians. A very small number of people is the very small population, but they had a significant number of ISIS radicals. So this is the problem. Now, first point, if you had seen Mr. Muizu's remarks and his comments during the election, I don't think anybody in his right mind would have said that this government, Muizu government, was friendly to India. He has made the most absurd comments about India, and these junior ministers have simply picked up that, except that the election is now over. They're now in government, and they have to face the fact that India is their most important neighbor. So that's the first point. The point is that unfortunately, the Muizu tried to create an anti-India policy, but he has had to backtrack and do some cosmetic gestures like suspending, not removing, but suspending some ministers who frankly spoke in exceedingly bad taste. I just want to ask my friends on the panel, if somebody calls you or me smelly, unclean, and stupid, I mean, how are we going to react? Are we going to say tremendous, fantastic, wow, wow, it's great? Oh, you think I'm smelly? Wonderful. I mean, you can't blame people for getting angry at being called smelly, stupid. Then they're saying that we elected somebody who's, I'm not even going to talk about that because this is such an absurd comment. But then you're basically defaming the entire Indian electorate. Don't you have a problem with that? And if that is not a problem, first of all. Secondly, I've been to Lakshadweep. It's one of the most beautiful corners of India. It's a wonderful place. And I would highly recommend Lakshadweep as a tourist destination for anyone. Now, the most important point, you're talking about ecology. The northeast of India, for 50, 60 years, it was neglected. No roads were built.
Right.
No infrastructure was built to so-called protect ecology.
Advocate Omar Junedi, would you be okay with your fellow citizens of the country being called smelly? Isn't it?
The first thing is that the ministers of Maldives disrespecting a prime minister is condemnable, and I condemn this act of the ministers of Maldives. But as Varun Singh said, that it is the image of the Narendra Modi because he is the tallest leader or the world tallest leader, something and all. We should now think and watch that it is not because of Narendra Modi being a tall leader or not. It is because of the policy made by the Maldives government that whenever a minister tries to disrespect any other country or prime minister of any other country, the action has to be taken. Now in India, the ministers, abuse, disrespect the opposition, they mock the democracy, they crack the democracy, they crush the democracy.
That's an interesting
has been taken.
Mr. Nalabat, is that true? Is there a government policy in Maldives that anybody who insults anybody who's a global leader is suspended as a minister? Probably that's what explains them having 3 deputy ministers.
No, the Maldivian constitution specifies that to be a citizen of the Maldives, you have to be a Sunni. You can't be a Shia. You have to be a Sunni. Now that's, frankly, I have got my own views. I'm a secular person. I believe that there should be religious tolerance. And I believe every religion, people of every faith have a right to settle in every country. The Maldivians disagree. Specifically, they have said you have to be Sunni. And secondly, the fact is that the tourism sector in the Maldives depends heavily on India and other democracies. And when you have a situation where you have a government that frankly speaks in the language of the extremists, where some leaders of India and our own country are concerned, and you have a government that is completely embedded with China, well, you're going to scare a lot of tourists away. How do you know that the rooms are not going to be bugged by the CCP without the knowledge of the Maldivian government? Is Maldives a safe destination now for people to go to from democracies? These are legitimate questions and nothing to do with Lakshadweep. The Prime Minister never mentioned the Maldives. The Maldives, some of these junior ministers made the most filthy comments, if I may say so, about the elected leader of this country. And basically, they're making fun of our democracy. So I'd like to make a very simple point. The relationship between India and the Maldives cannot be broken by a muizu or by these clowns who are so-called ministers in the muizu government.
Right.
The relationship is very strong, but that is independent of the fact that today Maldives is ruled by a party that believes, that consorts with extremism, and that basically is embedded with China.
But I'm saying, would you think that it was in order to please the Chinese, and everybody knows about their proximity with the Turkish, both of the countries that have not really been at friendly terms with India, that they chose to make a villain out of India, even though the Prime Minister or his posts or either of his ministers did not intend to do so?
Priya, before I answer your question on this, what Junaidi ji said reminded me a very beautiful sher by Krishna Bihari Noor कि चाहे सोने के फ्रेम में जड़ दो आईना झूठ बोलता नहीं. He might doubt.
बोलता नहीं है, but the thing we have to admit that the
देखिए जुनैदी जी,
taken a very good decision.
Anything.
The minister.
एक सेकंड सुन तो लो. You condemn everything. The moment you add a but, your condemn means nothing. You condemn every after that means your condemnation means nothing. To say that the prime minister of this country, the prime minister of 140 crore people, the prime minister who has won with such great votes, and second time prime minister who's about to be repeated in third time going by all the exit polls or whatever you say the mood of the nation.
No chance.
अरे आप चुप, मेरे को बोलने दो ना. आप कितना भी कोशिश कर लो जीत के आएंगे. वो छोड़ दीजिए, हम उस पे नहीं जाते क्योंकि आप एक भ्रम में जी रहे हैं.
Because you have
no, let's not get there. We have enough time and enough opportunities to talk about that. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, when it comes to
one second, Priya, I just
yes,
have
quickly finish your point. I'm
say.
absolutely running out of time. Please, 10 seconds.
30 seconds. Let me finish in 30 seconds. What is appalling over here that people are opposing development in Lakshadweep. People are opposing over here those who want people to visit our own country.
The development. People are asking why.
Forget it. You're supporting someone who said that roads being developed in Lakshadweep is bad for Lakshadweep.
The question is why
सड़क बनाए तो गलत है यार. रहने दो. पीएम अरे जाएंगे ना, पीएम मोदी को जहां जाना है वो जाएंगे. आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि कहां जाने वाले हैं. वो जा रहे हैं.
जाने के बाद
promoting is one thing, all these comparisons are one thing, but there are also those who are saying that it's fine, you take pictures, you come back, but there's nothing that has been done on the ground to ensure that it's easier for those who actually want to go to Lakshadweep.
Yeah, absolutely. Those things need to be done. Air India, I hope they run more flights over there. They, bring more international tourists. The Boeing order that they have placed, I hope they do it. And if the government is building roads, I'm sure that the government of India is thinking of doing something over there, and that will bring more tourists. And I hope that people in India, people from outside India, not only visit Lakshadweep, but all the other beaches in India, which are far more beautiful, far more sane. And I don't care if Mr. Chaudhary or Mr. Junaidi thinks that promoting India is trolling, amounts to being a troll. I don't care about such certificates.
Yes, talking about trolls, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, we've got at least 4 to 5 leaders of the opposition from the Maldives, the country with which you say that India's ties have been damaged, coming out and saying India is a close ally. We cannot take the risk of upsetting India. We should not allow our relationship with the Indians to be damaged. Do you think that they are also trolls?
No, basically, Priya, you are totally confusing the entire episode that happened out here. Certain ministers of Maldivian government should not have commented as they had in Twitter or in public domain. They should never have done that. That is a different issue altogether. The issue that comes out here is comparing a foreign country with India is absolutely ridiculous. India is a very vast country with enormous geographical locations for tourism that there cannot be any comparison to another person. Now, Prime Minister going to Lakshadweep serves two strategic purposes. Please listen to me. There is a China danger to the South Asia, to the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean out there. America bringing its warship into the nautical territory of India. That has happened not once, twice. It happens 4 times in the recent past. Prime Minister of India sending Praful Koda Patel to Lakshadweep to build the infrastructure and destroy the ecology of Lakshadweep.
What does that have to do with China and US?
Question. 3 laws that he brought
Mr. Nalapat, can you please decode this for us? Mr. Chaudhary is accusing me of confusing. He's the one who's absolutely thoroughly confusing me. What does this have to do with India's relationship with Maldives? PM going to Lakshadweep, him sending a representative, him building roads. Is there something that I can't understand?
Frankly, Priya, I don't know if the gentleman has ever traveled on a road in his life. I must say that country paths are beautiful, but they take a long time, and even bicycles can't go through them. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like roads. Maybe he doesn't like infrastructure. Now, there are a lot of infrastructure, a lot of roads, so he must be living in a place without that. And it's his right to live in a place without roads and infrastructure. I personally believe the people of Lakshadweep deserve the development that world-class tourism will bring to them. That will make the people of Lakshadweep, I can tell you, have a per capita income which will be the highest in the country. And if you check with the people of Lakshadweep, and you know, they're all, I'm a Malayali. The Lakshadweep people also speak Malayalam. They're wonderful people. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. And for God's sake, don't do what you did in the Northeast. 50, 60 years, deprive it of development. And now, for heaven's sake, people want development. There
is absolutely no harm in questioning the lack of development even in Lakshadweep, but I do not see the logic in standing in favor of a foreign country while completely ignoring, and it's flabbergasting how it has been ignored, how somebody from a small nation like Maldives, probably the size of Noida, has come out to call Indians smelly and delusional for being aspirational. Sometimes country must come above politics. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. I really need to take a break. Thank you for watching.